Hi, Kathryn here with Handmade by Circle Art Designs. Well, today on the mat, let's make a silver link slider bracelet and some amazing drop earrings. I love this set. It is the May project number 2. I will be using links from the April Bargain bead box and then a bead mix I got at Christmas time from Jesse James Beads. So let's turn our eyes to the mat and get started. As I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you and looking down on my thankful and blessed mat today, I got to thinking about my walk. Well, we've done several walks this week where we've gone to the little park at the end of our road, and it has a large and a small pond in it with a little stream and just amazing wildlife. Well, yesterday, I was walking with my daughter, and I saw this bird. It was the biggest bird I had ever seen that wasn't in a zoo in my life. And in fact, we looked it up. I'm truly thankful, and I feel so blessed that the Lord brought this bird into my view. I was also thankful there was a stream between us. This thing had to have come almost to my hip. It was huge. Here, let me get this mat on here. And it was a blue heron. I watched that thing walk across the bank around the tree and then settle in a shade. And my daughter, I said, "What is it doing?" And my daughter said, "I think it's hunting, Mother." And it was. It was watching the bubbles in the stream to catch its breakfast. What an amazing thing. I am truly thankful and blessed to have experienced that. How about you? What are you thankful and blessed for today? All right, let's turn our eyes to the mat. We're going to start off from the April Bargain bead box with these 22 millimeter textured ring links. I just love these, and I only used 3 of them. You could make the whole bracelet out of these links, but I did not want that on the back of my wrist, and I think it looks the way it is. So, as I said, I have plenty of these left over. You'll be seeing them probably for the next 6 weeks. All right. Then from there, I have pulled this Jesse James Sparkle and Shine mini mix. My daughter gave this to me in my stocking this Christmas. I know she bought it sometime last year, but when I looked online, I did not see this particular mix. I did look over on Etsy and some other places to see if there were similar things available. And I will leave that in the description for this video down below. But I did find some things that are very similar if you do not have this mix. But look around in your own stash and see what you have that would work for very similar looks. But I do want you to stay with me and make these together. So I pulled out the silver beads from this. I'm not sure at this point which ones I'm going to use, but I'm going to clean off the mat and we're going to put the rest of them up. As I said, this is the Sparkle and Shine mini mix. And what you're really looking for with these links is for the bracelet, you're looking for a round, flat bead that will go in the center. Now, I have also pulled out my peanuts. I'm going to pull out the silver links here. These are also called, I believe, 8 links because it looks like the figure 8. I got mine off of Amazon, and you get so many of them. I have been using this same little box of peanut links for about 2 years. I saw a lady use it. Gracious. I'm not sure which one it was, but if I remember, I will put it down in a link too. But I went look for them because I thought they were amazing. Now you will need a pair of chain nose pliers to put this bracelet together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the little peanut links and I'm going to put one side, and I am putting it through the thinner or the more narrow of the space on this textured link or circle. I guess it's a link. And then I'm going to close it up. And so again, I put it on, and the second one is always a little harder for me than the first one because I really need a third hand, but it is doable. So you put it between your chain nose pliers, get it fixed where you want it on your link, and then just I knocked it off. And then very gently, you want to go ahead and close it up. Make sure that when you're using these little peanut links, that it really does close. And that's what I'm looking for here, to make sure it closed. And then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do the next one on, because we want 3 links together. And again, you hold it in the more narrow part of this textured link. If you're using your own links and it's not textured and it's all the same, then just make sure that the link is not wider than the hole that is made when you close up the peanut. And once I get those closed, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to put a second one on. Now, isn't that cute? I just love it. You could leave one. I have found when I'm doing bracelets that they're steadier if you use 2. Now, I have, in some cases when it was heavy, I have used up to 3, but I think 2 will be just fine for this. And the second one is always the trickiest, and it doesn't matter if you put them together 2 at a time or you put all of them together and go back and put the link. The second one, when you put it on, is just harder to get on. Now I'm going to go ahead and, mash that one down just like that. And this is the part that makes it trickier. Now you're moving it down to where you want it, and you're going to put on, it got away from me. You're going to go ahead and you're going to put on that second link. I'm making sure, because I dropped it, that I want all of the closures to be on one side, and that will be the back of my bracelet. So let's see if I can't catch it here and get it closed off. And you also have to come at this straight on. If you don't, you will skew that end over to one side. And I have never found a way to get it off once you've done that doesn't ruin it. And like I said, you get a lot of them in several different colors, but I hate to waste something because I just got in a hurry. So that's what it looks like when you get 2 of them on. I'm going to go do the next one off camera. I'll see you in a minute. All right, and we're back, and we have them all together. Now, isn't that pretty? That is just so pretty. Now, as I said, you can do enough of the links to go all the way around. I personally don't like the big, bulky jewelry going around my wrist and on the back of my wrist. It really bothers me. I have taken an eye pin and I have put on the bead, and make sure whatever flat bead you use, it has to go from top to bottom drill, and you need it to fit in the hole. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to close these up because I want to make good and sure they're not going to go anywhere. And then I have the other one closed up, which is really funny. I do that, and you're going to say, but you're just opening one up. Yes, I am, but I know it has a circle that will really close. And then I'm going to put one side on. Let's snap it on just like that. And then I will go ahead and close it with my, there we go. Close it with my chain nose pliers, and then I'm going to put on the other side. So again, we're going to open up this side, And we're going to go ahead and we're just going to bring it across. Now make sure when you do this, because you're putting this in the middle, that both of those little peanut links are on opposite side of this bead. And it is giving me a little bit of a problem because it keeps wanting to jump away from me. But we are going to open this up and we're going to put it on. And then we're going to close it up just like that. Come on, you can get it closed. And then once that is done, you have this beautiful little, now my daughter would call this a fidget link because she loves to do that kind of thing. But now isn't that pretty? I just love it. And that is actually the center of your bracelet. And oh, let's try it on and make sure. And it's going to look just like that. Now, isn't that pretty? If you're going to make this with all of the links, then what you're going to need to do is make it loose. But I want it to fit tight along my wrist. And so I am making it a slider bracelet. This beautiful cord I'm using is a 0.5 millimeter. It is a nylon satin cord, and it is just beautiful. Measure from where your bracelet stops to where you want your wrist. Then add 3 inches on both, well, 3 to 5 inches, and fold it over in the center, and that will make one side of the bracelet. We are using 2 cords or a folded over because we want to make a knot. Now to do that, I have put them right on top of each other. I make a circle just like that, and I'm going to bring this through once like that. And then we're just going to pull it down into place. And you want that to be really tight. You do not want that to go anywhere. So make sure that you do that. And the push-pull is push with your forefinger and your thumb, pull with your back fingers. So let's go ahead and do this one. We're going to make that circle. And then let me show you this. We're going to push, pull, push, pull, push, pull until we get it right up against there. And now I can hold this cord and I can show you what that is going to look like. Now, isn't that pretty? I just love it. It's so pretty on. All right. Now we get to the part of making this a slider. To do that, the first 2 cords are not a problem. Make sure you put them in with them on top of each other like that. They won't stay that way, but it will help not be confusing. Then you pull this down. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get even one of them through without a needle. I have broke more needles getting these things through. So I'm going to show you what I do. Let's see here. Maybe. No. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to tape the end, and then I'm going to cut a point in the tape. I just want that tape to really stick to the end of my nylon cord, and I don't quite have it thin enough to go through there. So let me take my scissors and cut it a little more. Fold that tape over and you're cutting a point. Then I want that point, that long skinny point, to go through my bead. Now I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to catch that point, and first I'm going to drop the bead, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this through. Now, I told you that this was 0.5 millimeter, so I am using a hole that is smaller, well, about a 10 millimeter, because if I multiply 0.5 by all my cords, I want to go down a step in the hole, not the bead, the hole, so that it is taut whenever you get all of your cords through it, if you're going to use it as a stopper bead. Again, I'm folding this over, just like that, and making sure it's really tied up against there, which means you're going to have to pull it off very carefully. Then I'm cutting any excess off and making that long point, making sure I've got it going in the same way. Pull the cords down exactly the same way. So this one will go on top of the last one, and this will be a vertical pull instead of a horizontal pull. So all these cords are going in the same direction. This is my favorite way to make a slider. I do it both ways. You can check on my website and it'll show you the crisscross slider, but this is my favorite to use. So again, I've got that point coming out, and I'm very carefully, and when any of the the cord comes through, I grab the tape where the cord is and go ahead and pull it. And there you've got that, and that slider bead is fixed on securely. So I have 4 0.5 millimeter cords going through a diameter hole of probably maybe a 10. If you can get 2 cords through it and still have space, you're doing good. All right, so now I've come down, I've made my cords the same, and I'm making another one of these knots. But this time, I am lapping it over more than once. I have to use, because of my hands, I am using my curved nose pliers to get this started, and then I'm just pulling it off. The trick to this is I have not left this on long enough for it to be sticky. If you leave this on overnight and then you pull this out because you're tired, and I have done that before, it will be sticky. And you don't want that. All right, so let's move these down, straighten them up, make sure I've got the cords on top of each other so that they're not all twisted. That's what I'm doing here, holding the top, pulling the bottom to make sure I know exactly where these cords are and they are going in the right place. All right, then again, come on, straighten that out. Let's go ahead and get the other. Oh, keep it in place. So for this one, you do it exactly the same way. You make the circle, you go through one time, but then you're going through a second time, just like this, and it makes more of a barrel. It looks like a barrel knot. I don't know what the real name for it is. I taught myself how to do these knots, but that's what I use for my end. Single times for the bracelet, because it's not really having it pulled on all the time. Double for the ends. And then it's just a matter of pushing this up on the wrist, just like that. And let's see if I can get this in picture. Oh, come on down. Now, isn't that pretty? I just love this piece. It is gorgeous. I left it on the little thing I show it on, and my daughter came through and she said, "Is that for you, Mother?" And I went, why, yes, it is. It's part of my Christmas present. All right. So now then, isn't that lovely? I really like that. All right, let's move this off and let's get ready to do the matching earrings. Really pretty, easy to do, gorgeous. But before we move on to the matching earrings, would you please take a moment and like and comment on this video? And if you have not subscribed to our videos or to our channel, well, please subscribe to our channel. And when you do, click that notification button so you are notified when I put up new content. And lastly, please share this channel and this video with friends and family. It helps my channel so much. Thank you. All right, let's move on to the earring. So for this earring, we're going to be pulling from the Jessie Jane piece. Oh, I still have those rings on there. You know, I don't think I'm going to use those. But anyway, and we have a head pin. And then this lovely Oh, it is like a wrapped S, or it kind of has a coiled snake look to it. And I am putting that on top of that beautiful faceted teardrop. So look around for a faceted teardrop in your own set. Now, I really like that, and that teardrop just fits right inside that. If you do not have this particular set, you can do a S wrap with a double coil and make one yourself. And then once I have done that, I have put on, let's see here, what do I want to do? I'm going to go ahead, well, let's try this one more time. We're going to put on that beautiful bead cap. And as I said, I did find some on, I think it was Etsy, that they call coiled caps, and it's a little snake cap. It looks gorgeous. Then I have added the exact same bead that I used for the slider bracelet, and then I have put on a faceted rondelle in the same color as my teardrop, faceted teardrop. And once I get that stabilizes it in that coil. I'm going to add to this about 12 seed beads. Now, these are 11/0 seed beads, and you do not have to do this. You could just make it right up against that rondelle. But the reason I did this is because I wanted longer drops. So if you want a longer drop, then you add however many seed beads for however long you want that drop. Now I am taking my my straight nose pliers, and I'm turning down a loop, and you want to make sure you turn it all the way down to where it touches your last seed bead, and then make sure that that loop is closed. Now, I have put this one together ahead of time so that you can see what I am doing. And I really like this. And like I said, I will leave down in the description the things I found on Etsy, because I searched all over for this small mix and did not find it. If you are doing this with your own things, you do not have to have the wrap, but it would be gorgeous to make your own, or to buy one of the snake coil wraps that wrap very much like this. It would be just a beautiful deco type earring to go with that gorgeous open deco bracelet. All right, so I have opened up my head pin, and I've put it directly on my ear wire. I would probably use lever backs for this if I had pierced ears, but instead I am using these clip lever backs for clip earrings. They work really well. They do the same, very similar thing that the lever backs do for pierced. And I just love the way they make the earrings hang. Now, isn't that beautiful? That is such a pretty piece. And as I said, I use the bead that I used for the slider for the earring, and I used a rondelle, and I also used the teardrop. All right. Go ahead and look at these pieces together. Now, aren't those beautiful earrings? They really do have that Art Deco type of look to them, as does this bracelet with this open concept. It is so pretty. And, you know, I really, really love the slider bracelets. I even use slider necklaces because it makes it easier for me to wear. But isn't that a beautiful piece? I just love it. And remember, if you don't have these exact textured rings, any ring will do, and any of your flat beads will do. They don't have to be silver. You could use a lampwork bead or one of those beautiful glass beads, but it needs to be a top to bottom drill and fit into the bracelet itself. And then again, if you do not have one of these wraps, you can do an S wrap using your pliers. Go ahead and do the spiral at the top, then wrap it around 2 times around I don't know, anything you have, a stick, your bell, whatever, and then go ahead and wrap it at the bottom, and you could get a very similar look. But I will leave what I found. All right, let's see some pictures. Absolutely love this set. I love the deco look to it. I love the way it hangs. I love the openness of this bracelet. So look around in your own stash. See what you have to make one or both of these. Say you do not want to make your own wrap and you do not want to buy the snake ones that I will leave the link to. Make it without it. It will be gorgeous. So, have some fun. Look around. Make some of these for yourself. And if you find a place that sells these, because I spent an hour looking on the internet so that I could pass it on to you. I only found one thing that I thought might work, and I think it would be beautiful. But anyway, please leave it in a comment and I will pass it on. God bless you. God keep you safe until we meet next time. Kathryn, Handmade by Circle Art Designs. God bless y'all. Happy beading.